Here.
Yay! Hang on, welcome to the
CARPOOL HONCHO.
You are with Dino and Roro. Naked Marketing, the great flexible office space. We are based down here in Constellation Drive, and we have an absolute ball hanging out with cool people in our car every Friday, and we release those out to you, talking about and exploring some amazing topics.
We have a lot of fun, don't we?
Yeah, I do. We hope you guys do too, actually. And of course, through the month of February, we've been exploring the topic of the power of daily habits.
Yeah.
It's been really awesome. Make sure you go through the last 3 or 4 episodes. But last week we had in the car Karen Blau from Browns Bay. And what did she talk about?
She spoke about her daily habit of just smiling and how she gets the best out of her clients, how she gets the best out of her relationships with her family just by smiling, simply smiling.
A simple, free little habit that can make a big difference. Remember, what we're really trying to do is give you a daily life hack that helps make your life easier and lighter. I think we can all kind of identify with the need for more of that in our lives, right?
Yeah.
The simple act of smiling does some pretty amazing things. We worked that out, didn't we? Not only does it...
It's bloody infectious, firstly.
Infectious, yeah.
Secondly, it lowers your blood pressure, Dean. You started smiling for a change, thank you.
It's probably the only reason I'm alive. And so secondly, is that it increases your endurance and it increases your immunity.
Oh, 100%.
So that's pretty cool. So it's really, really healthy to smile, all right? So go back and listen to that amazing episode last week with Karen Blau. That was absolutely amazing. But we're launching for the month of March a brand new topic. And the topic is...
improving relationships and leveraging relationships in your life.
Leveraging relationships in your life. Now, this is a pretty cool concept because, you know, it's not just good enough to connect and have people in your life. You want to get the best out of people so they can get the best out of you. And when you get 1 or 2 or more people coming together and getting the best out of each other, life is more fun, it's easier, it's lighter, and relationships start to serve one another in a really powerful way.
But guys, there's different realms of relationships. So that you would have your relationships with your wife, your kids, your business partners, your business staff,
bosses.
And what about yourself? Your relationship with yourself. That's super important, because if you don't start with yourself, you can't be good mates like I am to Dean.
Business networking, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
There are relationships on so many different rounds and spheres, and we want to touch on those throughout this next month to really make sure that you are learning what it means to manage relationships and to press the right buttons. We have an amazing friend, Alison Mooney, and hopefully we'll get her on the show talking about this actually, but she wrote a book called Buttons. And the whole concept and idea behind that was making sure that when it comes to people in your life, learn what buttons to press and what buttons not to press.
And when to press them.
Exactly. There's different times and different moments that you'll get the best out of someone, right? So this is going to be an exciting series. I'm looking forward to it.
And I think it's just really taking a holistic approach to your life and giving you guys really good solid tips just to improve every aspect of your life, not just business, but everything in your life. So I hope you guys get a lot out of it. And please go back and watch the previous episodes. You're really going to enjoy these good guests that we got.
Now today we have an amazing young lady. We can't give away her name just yet, but we do know her quite well.
Very well.
One of the team of Naked Marketing. And tell us a little bit about her.
Oh, she's just a lovely girl. She tends to think she's blonde, but she's not. She's actually a redhead.
Is she a fiery redhead?
Nah, she's lovely. She's gorgeous. Absolutely
this
stunning.
person is a bit of a master when it comes to relationships. Her personality is infectious. She certainly knows what it means to get the best out of people. But she gets the best out of me, you know, and you as a boss. So and
her partner.
So she's a pretty cool all-round great chick. So let's pull over. Woo! Woo! Yeah, get her! Woo! Here she is!
Hey guys, it's Julia O'Brien from make it marketing! Woo, woo, woo!
He is our
So
amazing carpool honcho in the car today.
So
And,
excited to be here.
Yeah, we get to work with Julia like every day at the crate. And of course, she's part of the Naked marketing team, who I just love with all my heart. They're an absolute blast of team of people that we love, and of course really exude or exemplify this whole topic of leveraging relationships, because you're just such a fun, relatable team, right?
Yeah.
So we just thought when it came to this topic, there was no one better than Julia O'Brien.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
You feeling good?
Yes, I'm excited, ready to talk about relationships.
Yeah.
Stuff.
So guys, we are going to talk about leveraging relationships, and we've got this very first question for you: is what is the number one tip that you have or live by that helps you get the best out of relationships, that just kind of helps life become easier and simpler and lighter because you're doing well in that area? But before we do, we couldn't do what we do without our amazing sponsors. So thank you very much. Today's podcast is driven by our friends at Albany Toyota.
And we are fed by our mates at Sal's Pizza.
And our tunes are brought to you from The Sound Store. Julia, how do you do that?
Well, so something that I found that has honestly changed the way all my relationships are, whether it's with my family, whether it's romantic or friends or colleagues, is just being really open and honest about who you are and yourself to them, and being more vulnerable with people and helping to build a more genuine connection.
Wow, that's so cool.
So there's a lady on Netflix that I watched the other day, Brene Brown, I believe it is. Go and watch this episode. She's also on TEDx on YouTube. She talks about vulnerability, but she talks about vulnerability as your biggest strength in relationships.
Definitely.
So I think you're on it, and yeah, you haven't even watched it, have you?
No, but I'm going to go watch it now. I think it's right up my alley.
I find it amazing that you know that at your young age, you're already practicing that, which is really, really cool.
And we often sort of ask our guests when they do this, and I guess, you know, this is not sort of like a habit that you do every morning at a certain time, but when it comes to relationships and you say you met someone new, or, you know, how quickly do you become vulnerable with them? Is that something you guard yourself in the beginning, or kind of work out whether they're trustworthy? Like, how do you work that part out?
I think it definitely depends on the connection you have with the person, and also how okay you are to be vulnerable with yourself and how vulnerable you are with yourself as well. So for me, because I've been doing this for quite a while now, I'm like very confident in myself and my abilities to be open, because I know who I am as a person. But if you were just starting off doing this, you might not have that same kind of okayness to be vulnerable, you know. It's a bit scary to be vulnerable. So I think I just judge it based on who the person is. I probably wouldn't just go and tell everyone everything about me on the first meeting, but if I have a genuine connection with someone and I feel like we're bonding about things that are similar and I want to open up about a certain topic, then I will, and I'll start slow and I'll say something a bit slow, see how they respond. If they open up back to me, then it's kind of that mutual vulnerability that helps to build that trust.
Do you know what I love about you most is that you're not afraid to laugh at yourself. Look, a lot of us are like that at Naked Marketing, but you are just topping that one. I think it's a great quality.
Unfortunately, I have to learn to do that.
Why is that?
Oh, I'm just so clumsy, and I always say my brain and my mouth, they're not quite at the same speed, and I tend to say things before I think about it, so I have to try and laugh most of it off.
And I was saying, Callum, Julia's partner. Hey, Callum, how are you, bud?
Yo.
Hi, Callum.
Can't wait to meet you, by the way. He must have 1,000 laughs a day with you, because you are so vulnerable, you're so clumsy, and you're so funny. But
I hope so.
Can I just jump in on there, because I think the whole concept of sort of opening up to someone it's a little bit like a game of tennis, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, where you sort of serve something, you offer up something, and it might be a little at the beginning, you know, but you wait for that sort of, if it comes back to you. Is that how it works? Because if they begin to open up with you, then you'll go, okay, I'll open up a bit more, and so on and so on.
Definitely. And so an example of that is actually with my mum. So when I was younger, she was kind of the first person who I started to open up with more, because I needed advice and I needed someone to help me and guide me through life. But of course, when you're a teenager, you're like, oh, parents, you know, you don't really see them as people besides from just your parent. And so I remember at one point I started trying to talk to her more openly, because I was dating someone at the time and I needed advice, and I didn't want to ask my friends because they were all friends with the person I was dating. And so I kind of like slowly was like, oh, like, Mom, I've been doing this, or I'm seeing this person, to kind of see how she responded. And because she responded so well, it just meant that like the floodgates kind of opened eventually, and bit by bit, I was able to talk to her. And now my mom is my best friend. I talk to her about everything. I speak to her like every week. I go see her, and yeah, so it's awesome to have that kind of that great relationship with a family member, because you know they're always there for you.
You've got an awesome mom.
Yeah,
I do. She's really cool.
We'll meet your mum, so she's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I got the next question for you. Why is it important to you to be leveraging relationships and working relationships the way you manage them in your life?
So it kind of goes back again to high school. I was quite an insecure person, and I wasn't very confident to myself. Yeah. I had really bad social anxiety, and when I came out of high school, I realized I didn't know who I was. I was like, everything I like and everything I do is because I think I should be liking it or doing it, and I didn't actually like any of it, and I didn't know what I liked because of that. So I kind of went on a bit of a self-exploration, and I started trying to like things because I wanted to and not because of social stimulus. And when I started doing that, I started doing it with my relationships as well. Like with my friends, I'd be like, hey, do you like this? Let's talk about this. I want to hear about this. And when I had issues, I'd bring it up instead of it just being a taboo subject, because I wanted to learn from them and be like, how do I go about fixing this? And so what I found was I lost a couple of friends, but those were very superficial friendships.
Right.
And they were like fun to go out and have fun with, but they weren't someone I could be deeper with. And then the friends that I made, they're all my family now, because I'm so close to all of them that it doesn't matter what we do together. It's just so much fun to hang out. And I don't feel that social anxiety anymore, because I know that they all love me for who I am, because that's how open we are as a friendship.
Wow.
So it kind of started as a way to be less insecure and more confident about myself, and it just merged into this thing where now I also know everything about them. So like you said, leveraging that relationship, I know how to help them and how to make them happy when they're sad and those kind of things as well. So it becomes a lot stronger and a lot more real.
But this is obviously talking about the self-love you have for yourself and being okay with who you are as Julia O'Brien, right?
Yeah.
Huge.
Which took a long time. Well, not a long time, but it was a process to get there, and it's always a process. I feel like you never fully love everything about yourself. There's always things you want to work on, but I think if you can get to a point...
Sorry, you carry on.
No, you go.
Was there something back then that kind of woke you up there where you went, I'm over this?
Yeah.
What was that moment?
So it was actually ending a relationship I'd been in. So I'd been with this partner throughout high school, and then for a little bit of uni, and we ended it in uni, and I felt really lost, and I was kind of like, oh, well, what now? Because I'd grown with that person, and high school is such crucial years for growth, and because I'd grown with that person, I hadn't grown on my own. And so it was kind of like this opportunity to really grow on my own and become really strong with who I was, so I grabbed it.
That is so cool. I think most of us have that moment, at the defining moment in life, where we have to go find ourselves, and that is so important, hey? You know, and I think when it comes to relationships, that really you can't really offer anybody much at all if you don't know who you are.
100%.
And there's that process that, as you say, it's not like it's not a fun process normally. It normally doesn't turn up because, you know, you really went looking for it. You probably got smacked over with something. And wow, you know, life has just hit me with a train. But man alive, you know, I'm going to change from this moment. I'm going to be who I am. Probably not change, actually. I'm going to be who I am. And that's cool, because then you really do get to offer your very best to someone, because you're best when you are yourself, not being someone else.
But you know, it's also, it speaks huge amounts to the people that you hang around and who you surround yourself with. And I see at the crates, I mean, I don't think any of us take each other too seriously, right? We love having a good laugh. We're always making jokes. We're always taking the mickey out of each other, but we just love life, right? Because life is stressful enough, man. But just surround yourself with good people. And you'll become that, right?
Yeah. So, you know, I think this is so beautiful, because, and maybe that tennis illustration is quite cool, that it becomes a real sort of self-serving thing, right? You kind of serve to somebody else vulnerability, they serve it back. And then it just kind of goes back and forth, and it becomes this really beautiful motion or flow that allows you to get, you know, and I call it rich, like a richness out of each other and out of that sort of context of relationships. So I love what you're talking about. I love this vulnerability, and thank you for being vulnerable and open to us, even as to how that came about. That is so cool.
It's definitely scary being vulnerable, but you almost kind of get used to it, and after a while you start to feel good for being vulnerable because you see all the good repercussions that come from it. And even in a work situation, like this isn't just friends and family, in a work situation, you know, when you're dealing with clients, it's so much better to be honest with them and open about them, how things are going. You know, if you make a mistake, you got to say, look, this is a mistake we've made, but we're working on it and we're fixing it, rather than trying to cover it up. It's just so much better to be authentic with everyone around you. And I find it helps in every part of my life, not just
most people
personal.
know that we are all human. We make mistakes. But look, I know for one, there's one fact: your clients love you.
Yes,
Absolutely love you.
she's my business. You're my account manager. That's right. She's very good. I love her. Hey, what's cool about this is that I think that most people go around life with a bit of a loaded gun. And what I mean by that, you know what I mean? They've got their walls up and they've got an agenda. They kind of, but when you come before someone with vulnerability, you disarm them. You know what I mean? You sort of take that sort of force away. You take that sort of agenda away. It's almost like they relax and go, oh, like you're actually just like me, you know, because we are all human and we all make mistakes, like in that business situation, right? If you go in there and you're not vulnerable and that client or whatever just kind of wants something from you and they want to, you know, get more value or more this and more that, but if you're just kind of honest and open, it kind of disarms them and it brings it down to a really amicable level of conversation.
Definitely.
And the best comes out of that, right?
Yeah.
So cool.
We need to drop our egos a bit more.
Some people do, eh? More than others. Hey, tell me. So what positive things have come out of your life because of you going on this journey of being more vulnerable and open with people?
Is it because you think you're blonde?
I am blonde. It's a little running joke we have at the office. These guys are colorblind and they think I'm a redhead. It's so weird. I'm obviously blonde. In fact, there should be like a poll on this episode if I'm blonde or a redhead.
Right.
I think you'll see that I'm blonde.
Is Julia blonde or is she a ginger?
Redhead. Blonde, definitely blonde. No, so, I mean, this has had so many positive impacts on me. So, starting first with myself, it's opened myself up way more and it's made it easier for me to have hard conversations with myself too. Because sometimes you do have to look inwards and think, okay, well, come on, you shouldn't have done that, or this is something you might need to work on, and those are hard conversations to have. So if you can practice being more vulnerable with yourself and opening yourself up in that way, I feel like it's so much easier to have that self-growth. And then the same with friends. Like I said, I mean, every single friendship I have, every single romantic or family relationship I have as well, so close and all really unique. They're not things that I think are easily replicated with other people. You know, the relationship I have with my mom, dad, and my sister are all so vastly different, but so deep. And none of them are superficial. None of my friendships are superficial. And it just feels like this warm blanket around me. You know, I feel like everyone I'm surrounded with is people I love and who love me, which is just, it's such a nice feeling, especially in a world, especially with COVID, you know, things are happening. There's all these bad things happening in the world and you hear negativity all the time. It's nice to have that really good support system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's gold.
Yeah.
So you've given us so much to think about, and you know, you're an inspiration to me, and I've told you yesterday, I totally value you as a person in my life. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
I love it when, in this situation, if I look at your team and Rory is your boss, right? And, you know, but yet there's total respect, there's total honor, there's, you know, age or gender or anything does not come into this. You know what I mean? There's no power play going on. And, you know, Julia, I gotta honor you, because I think that, you know, there's a saying, probably showing my age here, but birds of a feather flock together, right? Yeah. In other words, you attract people like yourself, and you've got yourself in a situation where you say, yes, I have got these lovely people around me that are like a bit of a warm blanket, and that's because you have created that. You give that and you get it. So
more of attraction.
Mate, it's so amazing.
Thank you. That's so nice. Yeah, honestly, it's. And then I guess another positive impact is what you're saying, that mutual respect means that, you know, I grow from Rory because I see what Rory does, and I don't turn into a competition. I don't think, oh, he's doing it better than me, I have to be better than him. It's more like, oh my gosh, wow, look at how he does it. How can I do that myself? So I think it is also that kind of, like you said, the walls are down and you're just constantly learning from every direction.
And don't make any mistake, I'm learning from you as well every day. Totally. But now it's time to now give back to our listeners. How do you do this? Give them some tips on how you do this and how you mentor relationships, how you build relationships, how you give back to other people who you are.
From the perspective that if people are challenged with the idea of being vulnerable, like how do you start that? How do you kind of cross over that line and go, okay, No more walls up, no more pretenses.
Yeah.
It's me.
Yeah, it's definitely a hard one. But I think you just have to start really small, you know, kind of scope out the situation with someone that you trust, someone you've already got a connection with that you feel is a good connection. Always start with someone who you're already kind of close to, because it makes it easier than do it with people you're not so close to build that. So start with someone you're close to, and what's really important is give a little bit of yourself, because you're going to need to give a little bit of yourself, but don't give it all. You don't have to give it all. You can take it in small steps and give a little bit and then wait. And what will usually happen is they'll give a little bit of themselves back. And what's important there is you need to listen, because you need to be able to also take in what they're saying, because they're being vulnerable to you now as well. And that vulnerability together, you've both been scared, you've both been vulnerable, and all of a sudden it's not scary anymore, because you're
representing?
I can't say it.
Reproducing?
No, I know what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Replicate. Oh my goodness, all 3 brains don't make a whole.
You're both doing it. You're both doing it.
Reciprocating.
Reciprocating. Reciprocating. So it's just about starting really small, and just obviously there are going to be certain people you can't talk to about certain things. So you need to know those boundaries.
But you're talking about building trust, right?
Yes.
Trust is built.
Yes, it is built, and it's not built in one night. It's built little by little.
Love it.
Yeah.
Now, just to help our listeners again, because you said there were moments where you found relationships that weren't willing to be authentic and willing to go to that level. You know, what's your suggestion around sort of moving on? And is that okay? Do you have to feel bad? Do you have to, you know, how did you feel in some of those situations? And what sort of empowered you to go, you know, it's time for me to move on and find, you know, people that I can be like this with?
Yeah. Well, so there was a quote, I can't remember it perfectly, but it's people are in your life for a season or a reason. And that's something that I really take on, because some people are in your life for a reason. You know, they should stay in your life. That's they teach you something, but that doesn't also mean that they're going to be there forever. They could just be there for that season too.
Yes. Yep.
You know, so maybe you learn something from them. Maybe you just need someone to go out and party with, because you've got no other friends to party with. Maybe you need a mentor, someone to help you grow, or a relationship to help you. Because sometimes in a romantic relationship, they help you to feel really good about yourself too. But maybe that's not a forever thing. That's just until you've both got what you need out of it, and then it comes to an end. So I think it's just about feeling it out, and I wouldn't be afraid to let go of people, but it's just the thing that is important is knowing who to let go of. So it's people that are maybe not adding to your life anymore, or when you're with them you're feeling a bit drained, or they're just not helping you grow, because I think growth in a person is important, and it's something we should strive to do forever. You should always be striving to be the best version of yourself.
Very cool.
So yeah, I guess if you're with someone and they're bringing you down, they're hard on you all the time, you don't feel good around them, you've got anxiety from hanging out with them, maybe that's someone to look at, slowly start distancing yourself. See if you can open that trust with them and make it more genuine, and if not, I guess just slowly start distancing yourself.
Can I add a little thought and a tip there? Is I think it's like when you have a bad habit in your life, it's not so much sometimes about attacking the bad habit, it's about finding a good habit. So maybe in the sense of relationships, you might recognize this is not really a healthy relationship, and rather than trying to pull or distance yourself from that relationship, go find a good one.
Yes.
Because that will take over.
Yeah.
Right? That will
100%.
take priority. It will be easier. It'll be a natural gravitation towards a healthy one, and the other one will just slowly
Fizzle. Yeah. What are the ones that you want to grow?
I love it.
Yeah.
That's good. This has been pretty amazing.
Thanks so much for having me, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Julia. We absolutely adore you. You're just a cool personality. And
I adore you guys.
we know that at the Crate, really, we often talk about the level of richness of community, but it comes because we've got great people. And you're certainly one of them that help us to build that. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yes, cannot recommend the Crate high enough. Such an awesome pool, such a cool community. I love coming to work every day here.
Thank you, Dean.
Awesome. And of course, we've got Naked Marketing in the car. Show us your t-shirts, guys. Naked Marketing. These guys rock the planet. And, you know, if you want to truly expose your best side, that's their catchphrase, and get your business out there to our amazing community, then make sure you get a hold, go up and look up nakedmarketing.co, C-O, and don't ask for Rory, don't ask for Tash, ask for Julia! See you guys.
See ya.